we use the discriminant to tell us how many solutions we have and also what type of solution it's going to be. When we see our quadratic formula over here, hopefully we're going to remember that the discriminant is part of this. We just have to know which part to take out. And it's what is under this radical. The b squared minus 4ac is how we find our discriminant. So for each of these problems, we're just going to figure out what is b squared minus 4ac and then see what that tells us. So for our first example, our b value is this 4. So we're going to do 4 squared minus 4 times our a is this 2. And our c is this negative 4. So we have 4 squared is 16. We have a negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 4 is positive 32, so we're going to add 32 right here. 16 plus 32 is 48. So the discriminant equals 48. Now what does this tell us? Because the discriminant is positive, that means that we are going to have two real solutions. And I'm not calling them, mathematicians call them real solutions. So we didn't have to bring in the imaginary number at all. If you remember, this discriminant is coming from underneath the square root, and we can take the square root of a positive number and get two answers. If we were trying to take the square root of a negative number, we'd have to bring in the I value. So as two real solutions, if we were graphing it, that means we'd be crossing our x-axis and have two intercepts, something like that. All right, looking at this next one, let me just draw a line. We're in standard form, which is good, so we can go ahead and do our b squared minus 4ac. So our b is this 12. 12 squared minus 4 times a is 3, and our c is this 12. So 12 squared is 144. Now this negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, and negative 12 times 12 is a negative 144. So we have 144 minus 144, which equals 0. So our discriminant is 0. And what does that tell us about how many solutions we have? If the discriminant is 0, that means we have one solution. And because we have a solution, it actually is a real solution. It's not the imaginary. And what that means, when we think about looking at the quadratic formula again, the fact that we have a 0 under the square root, when you take the square root of 0, it's just 0. And there's not, a positive 0 and a negative 0. So we do just get one answer. On a graph, this means that our, oops, that's not touching it, but our vertex is right on our x-axis, so we only have one solution. Alright, last one. We want to get it into standard form, so we'll rewrite 8x squared minus 9x plus 11 and, well, equals 0, sure. b squared minus 4ac, our b value is at negative 9, so negative 9 squared minus 4 times the a value is 8, and our c value is 11. So negative 9 squared is positive 81. Negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. And negative 32 times 11 is a negative 352. So 81 minus 352 gives us a negative 271. So negative 271 is the discriminant. Because this is a negative value, that tells us something. Negative value means up here, if we were taking the square root of a negative number, we would bring in our imaginary value, imaginary number I. So we are going to have two solutions, but they're going to be two imaginary solutions. And on a graph, what this would look like is that we actually do not have an x-intercept. So the entire parabola could be above or below the x-axis.